بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Dear students of Operation Management course, today inshallah we will start with the first chapter of this course. The title of this chapter is Operations and Productivity. When you complete this chapter, you will you should be able to first define the operation management and explain the distinction between goods and services, also to explain the difference between production and productivity, compute the single and multi-factor productivity, and finally identify the critical variables in enhancing productivity. So let's start to define the operation management. Operation management, of course, it is a discipline that applies to or in different kinds of organizations, in factories, hospitals, restaurants, and so on. So both the production of goods and services require operations management. So how we can define the production? The production, it is the creation of goods and services, while the operation management, it is the process. So we can define it as it is the set of activity that creates value in the form of goods and services by transforming input into output. So the operation management, it is the process of transforming the input into output or creating the value in the form of goods and services. Okay. Of course, operation management take place, as you know, in all organizations, whether it is manufacturing or service firms. But in manufacturing firm, maybe the production activity of the tangible products are more obvious than the firm that produce intangible goods, which is the services firm, such as the educational firm or the banking services and so on. Okay, organizing to produce goods and services. As you know that all organizations perform 3 to 4 main functions which is necessary for the productions and organizational survival, and they are as follows. First, marketing, and secondly the production or operation, and finally the finance or accounting. In some book you will find that the essential functions, there are 4 main functions, not 3 main functions, and in some books more than 4 functions, but in our book they are summarized the essential function in any organization into 3 main functions. The first one is marketing. The marketing is responsible for generates demand, of course, by using the main function of marketing, such as place, product, promotion, and price. The second one is the production or the operations. It is focusing on creates and produce and finally deliver the products or services to the customers. And the last essential function in any organization is the finance or the accounting. It tracks how well the organization is doing, paying bills and collect the money. Okay, in the next slide it shows that different kind of organizations, such as banking, airline, universities, or manufacturing firms, all businesses performs the 3 main functions, which is operations and the finance or accounting and the marketing function. For example, the first organizational chart, it is for a commercial bank, which is provide banking services for a customer. In the table, which is shaded by the blue color, it is focusing on the essential function of organization. It is the operations function, such as teller scheduling اللي هي جدولة الصراف، التشيك كليرينج عملية اللي هي التحقق من المقاصة، collection of the money, transaction processing, the design, the facilitated design and layout, valet operations, the maintenance, the security, all of these is operations that facilitate the activities within the bank in order to provide the service or an effective service for the customers. In other tables, we have the finance and the marketing functions in the commercial bank. Okay. Also, in the next slide, it shows the main operations of airline services, and the third one, the main operations in the manufacturing firms, such as facilities, construction and maintenance, production and inventory control, scheduling, material control, the quality assurance and quality control, supply chain, manufacturing, designing of the products, industrial engineering, and process analysis. So you can read it quickly to know what is the main operations that can be found in different kind of organizations. So it is an examples for the operations that are applied in different kind of organizations, whether it is manufacturing or service firms. After that, we have a slide which is talk about the supply chain. Of course, the companies can seldom create the value for the customer through the function which is performed by the organization, or the companies can rely on different suppliers to provide everything to the organization, from providing the raw materials to deliver the services or the goods to the customers. Those suppliers, when they are taken together, they are called the supply chain. So the supply chain, a global network of organizations and activities that supply a firm with goods and services. Members of the supply chain collaborate to achieve high level of customer satisfaction, efficiency, and competitive advantage. So the main objective of the supply chain, or the main goal, is to achieve a high level of customer satisfaction and increasing the efficiency and the effectiveness of the organization's activities, and also to compete the other and make an competitive advantage. Okay. In figure 1-2, we have an example for a supply chain. It is, in general, any supply chain starts with a provider of the basic raw materials and continue all the way to the final customer at the retail store. So here in figure 1-2, it is an example of a supply chain. For a bottle of soft drinks requires first of all a bit of sugarcane farmer and a syrup producer, then a bottler, then a distributor, in order to reach the final customers via the retailers. So all of those members contributes to provide the customers with the goods and services and maximize their satisfactions. So why to study operations management? As you know that operation management is one of the main and the basic functions for any organizations in order to be survive and in order to provide its products and services more efficiently and effectively. So we wanted to know and study how the people organize themselves in order to provide us products or services. Also, our second reasons for studying operations management, we wanna to know how goods and services are produced. Of course, the production functions creates products and services that we are actually use, so we prefer to know how goods and services which is delivered for us are produced. Okay. The third reason, we wanted to understand what operation managers do and what is the main functions of operations managers, and this will help you as a student to explore the different career opportunities in that field. And the last reason for studying operations management, operation management is such a costly part of an organization. As you know that a large percentage of revenues of most firms is spent in operation management function, so that the operation management provide a major opportunity for an organization to improve its profitability and enhance its service for society. طبعا زي ما انتم عارفين حسب القوائم المالية في قائمة الدخل انه ال cost of goods sold تقريبا اكبر نسبة من التكاليف موجودة فيها اللي هي related لل operation management، فبالتالي طالما انها يعني بتمثل اكبر نسبة فمن الضروري انه احنا ندرسها ونعرف كيف ممكن نتحكم في هذه التكاليف، كيف طبعا طالما انها تكلفة فبالتالي بتلعب دور كبير في انها تحقق ربح للمنظمة، فبالتالي تحتاج إلى يعني دراسة جيدة. So the next slide it is show an example for this point in a table. Options for increasing contribution. In this table 1 to 1, it is shows simple income statement or profit and loss statement and 3 strategic options اللي هي marketing option and finance or accounting option and the operation management option. For a specific firm, the first option is the marketing option, and it is considered that the marketing will increase the sales by 50%. Okay, and by increasing the sales by 50%, of course the contribution will be increased by 71%. طيب طبعا عنا في الكرنت الوضع الحالي عندي السيلز كانت 100,000، واعتبر انه او يعني وضع افتراضية انه انا بدي يعني احاول قدر الامكان من انه الوظائف تبعتي في الماركتينج او ادي الماركتينج بطريقة كتير عالية، فبالتالي اذا انا اشتغلت على الماركتينج كتير عالي اتوقع انه تزيد عندي السيلز بنسبة 50%، فبالتالي 50% من 100,000 50,000، فبالتالي حتصير السيلز عندي إذا أنا اشتغلت على الماركتينج بشكل جيد 150,000. أوكي، طبعا حيضل كل الايتمز هذه كونستانت، فبالتالي حيصير عندي 150,000 ماينس $120,000 حيصير عندي الجروس بروفيت or the gross margin $30,000 minus the finance costs $6,000 حيصير في عندي sub total $24,000 minus the taxes which is 25%. $6,000 حيصير عندي contribution or the profit is $18,000. okay. فبالتالي إذا بدنا نحسب نسبة الزيادة في contribution after the marketing option حتكون اللي هي $18,000 minus $10,500 divided by $10,500 and it will be equal 71%. النسبة يعني نوعا ما جيدة وعالية, but increasing the sales by 50% may be very difficult and virtual and maybe even very impossible. So we are thinking for a second option اللي هي finance or the accounting option. If we are decreasing the financial or the finance cost to the half or by 50%, what is the effect on the contribution؟ طبعا السيلز ستبقى كما هي, cost of goods sold كما هي, so the gross margin as the current it is $20,000, لكن هنعمل هنا reduction لل financial costs, طبعا reduction by an effective management, فحتصير في عندي بدل 6,000 $3,000, so the subtotal $17,000 minus the tax, so the contribution will be $12,750. So the contribution is increased by only 21%, من وين اجت 21% اللي هي 12750 ناقص 10500 على 10500، فحتكون عندي نسبة الزيادة 21%. So in the second option, by reducing the financial costs or the cost or the operating cost by 50%, the contribution margin increased to $12,750 or by 21%. And how we can calculate it? The contribution in the financial or the accounting option 12750 minus the original contribution اللي هي 10500 على 10500 هيطلع عندي نسبة الزيادة 21%. But it is still very difficult and impossible to be applied. Okay, so we are thinking about another option in order to increase our profit or contribution, which is the operation management option. زي ما حكينا انه الاوبريشن مانجمنت اوبشن هي عباره عن تكلفه البضاعه المباعه او تركيزها في تكلفه البضاعه المباعه من الانكم ستيتمنت، لانه الكوست اوف جود سولد هي عباره عن البيجنينج انفنتوري بلس purchases minus ending inventory and other items. فبالتالي all of the operation management activities in the cost of goods sold. فبالتالي هو فكر انه يعمل reduction للcost of goods sold by 20%. فبالتالي بده يخفض 80,000 ب 20%، بده يشيل منها 20%. فبالتالي ال 20% من ال 80,000 حتطلع عندي $16,000. So $80,000 minus the $16,000 حيضل في عندي $64,000 as a cost of goods sold. So it is reduced to $64,000. So the gross margin, it will be $36,000 minus the finance cost. طبعا الفاينانس كوست حضلها زي ما هي، أنا فقط عملت تعديل في إنه خفضت قيمة الcost of goods sold. The contribution it will be increased to $22,500. So by this option اللي هو operation management option, the contribution will be increased by 114%. كيف نحسبها؟ اللي هو 22,500 الكونتريبيوشنز الناتج عن الاوبريشن مانجمنت اوبشن ماينس الكونتريبيوشنز في الكرنت اللي هو 10,500 على 10,500 هيطلع عندي النسبة 114%. فهي نسبة كتير عالية، مع انه اللي تم يعني تخفيضه هو فقط 20% من الكوست اوف جود سولد. But the question here, it is possible or it is easy to reduce the cost of goods sold or applying the operation management option. Maybe it is a bit difficult, but it is still feasible. Okay, so the operation management option, maybe it is yield the greatest improvement in the contribution, and also it is the only feasible option that can be applied within the organizations. Okay, so we can finally conclude that the effective operations management is the approach that we can that can be taken by organizations in order to face competition and challenges. Okay, this slide it is talking about what operations managers do. Of course, the operations managers, as any manager, they are applying the management process to their decisions that they are made in the operation management function, which is planning, organizing, staffing, leading, and controlling the activity of the organizations. Okay, but there are 10 main strategic decisions that can be taken by the operations managers, which is designing of goods and services. طبعا هنا إقبال كل طبعا استراتيجية مهمة تتخذ من قبل مدير العمليات أو الإنتاج. موجود الشابتر اللي حيحكي عنه بتفاصيل كاملة. ف design of goods and services حنشرحها في chapter 5. managing the control in chapter 6. process and capacity design in chapter 7. location strategy in chapter 8. layout strategy, human resource and job design, supply chain management, inventory management, scheduling and maintenance. And we will talk briefly at each of this strategy in the next slide. Okay, the strategic decisions of operations managers. First, design of goods and services. We wanna to define what is the needed or the required operations in order to produce these goods or services. Also to determine the quality needed, the lower limit of costs, and the human resource needed in order to provide goods and services and deliver it for the customers. Okay, and the second strategic decision, it is talking about managing the quality. So in this strategy, the managers determine the customers' quality expectations. Okay, احنا هنا ما بنتحدث على اللي هو طلب الكاستمر الاكسبكتيشنز تبعته بالنسبه للطلب، احنا بنحكي على الكواليتي اكسبكتيشنز. يعني يفترض انه تم تحديد الطلب من قبل اللي هو طبعا الماركتنج ديبارتمنت، وانا هرجيت كاوبريشن مانجرز بركز على الكواليتي اوف the demanded products or services. Okay, and also it is need to establish the policies, procedures, strategies in order to identify and achieve the highest quality. Okay, in the managing quality, we wanted to first of all determine the customers' quality expectations, and in order to achieve it, we wanted to put setting the policies, strategies, procedures to achieve the highest quality. Okay, the third strategic decision is the process and capacity design. How is a good or services produced? Okay, because we are talking about the process, so how we can convert the raw materials into output goods, whether goods or services. So how it is produced. Commit management to specific technology, quality, resources, and investments. So we are talking here about the tools, the ways, the technologies, the quality, the resources, whether human resources or other resources, and the investment needed in order to making the transformation of the input into the output. Okay. The fourth strategic decision is the location strategy. It is searching for to be near for the customers in order to deliver it at a specific time, and also near for the suppliers and other talent and facilities. It is considering the cost and infrastructure, logistics, and the government. Okay, and the fifth strategy is the layout strategy. It means integrate capacity needed, personal levels, and the technology and the inventory, and also to determine the efficient flow of material, people, and information. هنا احنا بنحكي على التصميم الداخلي، فبالتالي احنا بنحكي كيف ممكن نعمل arrangement for the resources within the organizations, whether the machines, the peoples اللي هو employees, materials, within the technology within the organization، بحيث انه في النهاية بدي اعمل يكون the flow of the material, the flow of the information, and the flow of the people is very efficient، على اساس انه يتم البرودكشن في باقل وقت وباقصر جهد. اوكي، فانا بدي احكي هنا على التصميم الداخلي، خلينا نقول ممكن للمصنع، في ترتيب الالات، كيفيه حركه العمال والى اخره. هذا بيلعب دور كبير في يعني خلينا نقول تقليص الوقت اللازم لصناعه البرودكت. Okay, and the sixth strategic decision is the human resources and job design. It is responsible for recruiting, hiring, firing, motivating, and training the employees. And as you know that the human resource is an integral part for the production process. Okay, so it is integral and expensive part of the total system design, so we have to train it and motivate it, and also to choose it more carefully. Okay, The seventh strategic decision in operations management is the supply chain management. Integrate supply chain into the firm strategy, determine what to be purchased from whom and under what conditions. So we here talking about the suppliers who can supply us with the raw materials. So what is the quantity needed to be supplied or purchased, and also from any suppliers to be purchased, and what is the main conditions, and making a negotiation between the company or the organization and the suppliers. The eighth strategic decision is the inventory management. Inventory ordering and holding decisions optimize considering customer satisfaction, supplier capacity and the production schedule. فهنا بنحكي على اللي هو إدارة المخزون داخل المنظمة، وبدنا ناخد بعين الاعتبار اللي هي الكوستس اللي ممكن تترتب وراء وجود هذا الانفنتوري زي الهولدنج كوستس، وبدنا ناخد بعين الاعتبار كمان الاوردرز اللي هي بتكون فعليا تم طلبها من قبل الكاستمرز in order to يعني reach or optimize the customer satisfaction and suppliers capability. Okay. The ninth strategy decision is the scheduling. It means determine and implement the intermediate and short-term schedules and utilize the personnel and facilities while meeting customer demands. Okay, and the last one is the maintenance. Consider facility capacity, production demands, and personnel. Maintain a reliable and stable process. So the maintenance here is very important in order to ensure that the process is reliable and more stable, in order to provide the goods and services more efficiently and effectively for the customer and on the needed time. Okay. On the next slide, it is a question: where are the operation management jobs? The operation management jobs can be founded in technology, facilities, in the people, customer services, quality, cost reduction, productivity, inventory reduction. So we can find the operation management jobs in many sectors of the organization. السلايد اللي بعدها طبعا يعني مجرد الاطلاع في عندي what is the main title of operation management. ممكن ناخد يعني بعض مسميات وظيفية للoperation management زي plant manager, operation analyst, quality manager, supply chain manager and planner, process improvement and consultant, and so on. Okay. Certifications. As you know that there are many professional organizations that provide various certifications in that field, in the operation management field, such as the Association for Operation Management, American Society for Quality, Institute for Supply Management, Project Management Institute, Council of Supply Management Professional, Charter Institute of Purchasing and Supply. The scientific events of in operation management, or the heritage of operation management. طبعا الاهتمام بهذا العلم لم يبدأ يعني في مرحلة واحدة، ولكن على عدة مراحل مختلفة. في المرحلة الأولى كان في عندي focusing على الكوست، في الليفل الثاني كان في عندي الفوكسing على الكواليتي، after that customization, after that the globalization. Okay. ففي عندي في تحت كل مرحلة من هذه المراحل المتطورة كان في عندي عدة علماء وحقب زمنية اهتمت ببعض المواضيع اللي وصلتنا طبعا للمرحلة الأخيرة والاهتمام بالglobalization. So in the early concepts, the main researchers or the scientists in this era is Smith and Whitney. They are focusing on labor specialization and standardized parts. In the scientific management era, there is a scientific Gantt who's responsible for the Gantt chart, and Gilbert, and also Frederick Taylor. In the mass production era, there is a scientific who's called Ford and Harris and DuPont. In the quality focused, there is they are focusing on the just-in-time and the computer-aided design and the electronic data interchange, the total quality management, and also in the customization focus, or in the third era, they are focusing on the mass customization, such as the internet, e-commerce, the enterprise resource planning, the international quality standards, and also in the final stage of the operation management is the globalization focus. They are focusing on the global supply chain and the growth of transitional organization and sustainability, ethics and so on. فبالتالي بنقدر نقول انه التركيز او وجود او ظهور الاوبريشن مانجمنت ما كان على مره واحده، كان تركيز في الاول على الكوست، بعد هيك على الكواليتي، بعد هيك على الكستمايزيشن، after that the globalization. فلم يتم ظهوره بشكل سريع. خلينا ناخذ يعني more details about this heritage of operation management. The division of labor اللي كان مسؤول عنها العالم آدم سميث, standardized parts for Whitney, and scientific management for Frederick Taylor, coordinate assembly for Ford, and the Gantt chart for Gantt, motion study for Frank and Lillian Gilbert, the quality control for Deming and Shewart. Okay. يعني هذول مجرد فقط علماء للمعرفة ويعني الاطلاع عليهم. In the computer term, and also they are focusing on the critical path method, the PERT for DuPont, the material equipment planning for Oracle, a computer aided design, flexible manufacturing system, computer integrated manufacturing, globalization and the internet. Okay, so في هذه السلايدات القادمة حنركز فقط على بعض من العلماء اللي يعني لعبوا دور كبير في ظهور أو الاهتمام بالoperation management. عندنا the first one is Eli Whitney. He is born in 1765 and died in 1825. He has received a government contract to make 10,000 muskets. Showed that machine tool could make standardized part to exact specifications. كان مسؤول على اللي هي interchangeable parts, فقام بتصنيع ال standardized parts بحيث انه ممكن يستخدموها يعني في اي نوع من انواع الماسكتس. Okay. And also the Frederick Taylor, he is born in 1856 and died in 1950. He is known as a father of scientific management and he is the father of management. طبعا أهم الأمور اللي قام فيها اللي هي نظريات عديدة, منها first motion and time studies, and he is created an efficiency problem. Okay, and also there are many principles for Taylor, such as matching employees to right job, and selecting the employees using the right way, providing the proper training for these employees, and also proper work method and tools, and using the scientific approach in order to perform our task, establishing legitimate incentives for work to be accomplished. Frank and Lillian Gilbert, focusing on the measurement methods and also in the efficiency method in order to perform the work and tasks. Another scientist is Henry Ford. He is focusing on the first person who are using the assembly line to make a Model T, unfinished products moved by conveyor past workstations. So he is the founder of the assembly line. Another scientist is Edward Deming. He is credited with teaching the Japan about the quality control method, and also he is using the statistics to analyze the process. Okay. Contributions from the operations management it is contributions from other disciplines such as human factors, industrial engineering, management science, biological science, physical science, and also informational technology. For example, what is the contribution of physical science in the operation management? As you know, the production of mobiles needed special glasses, and also the plasma of TVs, the gamma rays, which is sanitize food products, and also other things needed to produce goods and services. It is related to the science. لما بنحكي على الشاشات الخاصة اللي احنا بدنا نصنعها للجوالات أو شاشات البلازما أو أشعة ري اللي احنا بنحكي بتعمل تعقيم للبرودكتس، هذه كلها بتصب في علوم أخرى زي الكيمستري، anatomy, biology, and physics. Also, the information technology contributed to operation management. It is focusing on wireless lines, internet, e-commerce, all of them reducing the cost and accelerating communication. And of course, the management science is contributed to operation management because it is need to plan, organize, leading, and controlling the activities in order to produce an effective and efficient way. Also the industrial engineering, the human science, and so on. Okay, inshallah we will stop here at slide 31, and next lecture we will continue chapter 1. Thank you for your listening and good luck.